It's Thursday already. Can you believe it? And it's mid-April. How is that even possible? I would really, really love to know. Would love to know how that is possible. We will figure that out perhaps in some other day and time. But today, it's another great episode of Small Biz Bites. And before we get started, I gotta play a little intro music and do all of that stuff. So let me go ahead and do that, and we'll get started. Good afternoon. It is Gwendolyn G.R. Houston Jack, your host of Small Biz Bites. And well, I was supposed to be streaming live to Facebook, but looks like Facebook is having some issues. So technology will do what technology does. But we are streaming live to LinkedIn as well as YouTube. They've got the green check mark, so that's good. And I will say, if you are on YouTube and you have not subscribed, please subscribe to the channel as well as liking this video. Let me say all of that before I get into a few other things. So first thing first, we obviously have to welcome in my mama, because mother is here. Good afternoon to you, mother. Good afternoon to you. Great to have you in the building as always, being so supportive. We also have Tanya Fisher here. Now, Tanya, I'm telling you, people right here, right now, I cannot say enough about how, what's the word? It's not inspiring, but let's just say this. Tanya is a trademark attorney. She is bringing mad knowledge to small business owners. So I'm going to also say, look for Tanya on Instagram, look for her on YouTube as well. We also have her episode where she discussed trademarks and copyrights. I am telling you right here, right now, I love what she's doing. I love what she is about to bring to everybody. So if you have not hooked up with her, link up with her as well. And I just believe it's great where people are open and ready to share their gift with others. That's a great thing. That's an amazing thing. So shout out to Tanya. And of course, she is sending hellos to mother as well. So woohoo, hello to mother. All right, now we're getting ourselves ready for a really great conversation. Really great conversation. I know for myself, I don't know about you guys, but I want to go over a couple of things really quick before I bring in our guest. Just a couple of things that I want to talk about. First of all, and this is just behind the scenes stuff, so it really has no value to anybody out there watching now or in the replay, but this horse over my shoulder. Okay, so the horse is how I got my very first photography client. I know, a horse, right? Of all the things, but it's how I got it. However, because I am speaking and I kind of move a lot when I speak, the camera wants to lock on a pair of eyes, and sometimes it's the horse that's in focus. I know you're thinking, Gwendolyn, don't nobody care about that, but just in case you want to know what goes on back here, those are the thoughts that I'm thinking about. I'm thinking about how the horse is getting more attention than me. Of all the things, what can I tell you? So let me get myself together now that I got that off my chest, because all you guys are really concerned about me and the horse and how it locks eyes with the horse. I'm going to bring in our guest. Hold on. Let me see. Is she ready? You ready? Of course she is. I'm just not ready. Yeah. I'm the one who's not ready. We're having all kinds of tech difficulties. There we go. There we go. Yes, here we are.
It's all good.
Bring it together. Bring it together. You know what? Let me just say this really quick. And I'm going to talk about the joy of technology. Before I do that, wow. Hey, it's Gary Jackson Jr. What's going on there, man? Hello to you. Let me just say, when people talk about staying the way things were, with work and how we interact and how we play, what have you, I don't believe those people recognize all of the possibilities that come into play when you operate in virtual spaces. Now, I stumbled upon Serena from a fellow friend, and she was hosting these self-publishing workshops. And every time she hosted them, I was out of town on the road. I said, I just cannot win. I can't win. I don't understand, but it's okay though. It's okay.
It's okay.
It's going to happen. It's going to happen. But I thought to myself, here I was thinking how I would like to have a book. There's a couple of books in me. I mean, there's a couple of books in me, you know what I'm saying? And I just thought, okay, how do you navigate those waters? And then the good Lord said, ding. And I was like, man, like really? Seriously? Is that how we going to do it this year? Okay. So before I get into who you are, I want to do what we call a fast five.
Okay.
You ready?
All right. Let's go.
It's really not fast. I'm just going to put it out there because I'm going to get into some things. I'm going to give you an either or.
Okay.
All right. Number one, would you prefer fall, winter, or spring, summer?
Oh, spring, summer.
Oh, so you're the warm kind of person?
Yes. And the older I get, the more my body does not like winter. And I'm from New York originally. So people are like, oh, you don't know what cold. I am from New York, but I'm done.
You understand cold. You understand cold. You understand winters.
Oh,
like,
and
it gets old and gray.
And
I remember the first time the snow came.
Oh.
And I've had a couple, but I remember the first time it was like snow, like the 2 feet to 30 inches of snow.
Yeah, Snowmageddon. Yeah.
Right, the Snowmageddon. I'm thinking, oh my God, look at this. It's so pretty. And then it just doesn't go anywhere. It gets dirty and gray. It just
It's cold and
cold.
Yeah, it's just cold. Yeah.
You quickly are like, I'm over it.
I'm over it. Yeah, I've been over it.
Over it. We're like, and we're done. Okay. So we're a spring, summer. I like that. Now, would you be on the beach? Or would you be like on a lake? Would you be
beach?
Beach. All right, Serena. Coffee or tea?
Oh, tea. I don't drink coffee at all.
Do you have a tea collection?
I do. Yep. Yeah. I like the teas that you infuse, like you steep.
Yeah, I was going to ask you that.
Yeah. I just bought some tea from a website, Diva Steam. She's fantastic. She makes her own teas, and it's an iron infusion tea. It has all these different herbs and stuff in it, and it tastes, it's delicious. Put a little honey in it, and good to go. Yeah, but we have ginger honey, lavender, elderberry, you name it. We got it.
You have the fancy like tea steeping stuff that does like the whole like cone thing, and is it just like a teapot?
No, I have a tea. I just have a kettle, but I'm very particular. I just bought a new tea kettle. Very particular about my tea kettles, and I have a cute little steeper. It looks like a heart.
Oh,
and you put the little herb. Yeah, it's so cute. And I have a collection of mugs. Love mugs.
I have mugs. I'm going to go ahead and tell you people I received 2 today from Hello Healing, and then I got 1 from my friends at the Last Mile Cafe in Grand Rapids, Michigan.
Oh,
the husband doesn't know yet, but he'll be knowing fairly soon.
Yeah, my cousin
he was like,
there.
Not another mug, Gwendolyn. I don't know what to tell you.
I know. I love it.
Just a little addicted. I don't know. It sets the mood. It sets the tone, right?
With you.
All right. Road trip or flying?
Okay, it's tough. So I do love road trips, but of course, if I'm going overseas, we gotta get on a plane.
Yeah. Like that's the.
Yeah, you just have to. So, but I love a good road trip. I really do.
I like a good. Do you create a playlist for your road trips?
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. Like I have YouTube playlists.
Okay.
It depends on the mood. If I'm getting really, really tired, I go to my old school hip hop playlist, and it's unfiltered. Sorry. Tell my son, put your headphones on. Mom's got to get to A and B, and that's that. And yeah.
Well, that goes into perhaps our next question. We are asking, would you choose Buju Banton or Beanie Man?
Oh. Oh, okay. You know what? I will say I love me and Buju. We're going back to the basement parties in Brooklyn
Yeah.
where I shouldn't have been in high school, but it's okay. I'm old enough. Family's probably like, oh, that's where I wasn't down the block. I wasn't around the corner. We were all the way in Brooklyn. Okay. And the reggae parties. And once you put on some Buju, that's it.
I know, right?
That's it.
Like...
And the voice. Oh. Yeah.
So we're doing Buju?
Love Buju.
Okay.
Love being there, but
I know, right? Like I love them all, but if I had to, I know you're like, okay. All right, here's our number 5. Do you prefer a physical book or an audio book?
Oh, I'm physical. I have book collections. Just collections. Okay. And then I'm the one that's buying more books, knowing I have like 100 books I haven't read. I just love books. I love the feel, just going through the pages. That's me. Yeah. Love going to the library.
Let's say this. If you're going to get something signed, we're not signing an audiobook, okay?
No. You got to have a physical book. You have to.
Got to have a physical book, right? Because I'm just like, you know what? Gwendolyn has a good number of, I have a library, and a good number of them have been signed by the author. So it's like, that's the whole point, right? Like, don't you want to have them signed by the author? Like, hello?
I keep those close to me, the autograph ones. Yeah.
Right? Yes. They have a very near and dear space. Okay, before we go forward, because I really do want to, everybody has shown up. This is so amazing. You guys are always so active. My streak alive. Hey, shout out to Rhonda. Okay, let me say this. This is the beauty of getting to interact with people in all the spaces. Rhonda has a beautiful, awe-inspiring show on YouTube Thursday mornings. And Rhonda, if you would you put into the chat the name of it, because I don't want to get it wrong. But man, I had the ability to watch one show last week. Oh, these ladies, the messaging is so on time. But I want to shout her, because if you guys have the ability, if you can't watch it live, fine, but you can watch the replay. It will touch your soul, and it's the news that you need. So I definitely want to make sure she is here, that I also shout her out, because her show is amazing. And let me just go back to Tanya's message. She said, thank you. It is all due to you. You're an amazing and inspirational advisor and coach, and I am only able to get things together because of your help. Oh, you're so sweet. Y'all gonna come in here and be starting up some stuff. Don't start
love.
Now, Gary says he has a tea infusion thingy as well. Yes. I like how it's a thingy. I appreciate that. Hey, Mikey is here. Shout out to Mikey. I put my hand up on your hip.
Wow.
We're going to start quoting some lines today, people. We're going to quote some lines. Tanya also says, yes, old school hip hop all day, every day.
I'm telling you.
All day, every day.
Yes.
Gary says he's a mix of old school and new school. All right.
I got some new school.
Mikey says, I want the author to record a voice signing on my audiobook to Mikey with love.
Okay.
You leave it to technology. We'll probably find a way to do that in the near future. We'll probably find a way.
They're going to find a way. They're
going to find a way. Like, technology's got to be there, right? So let's go into this. Serena, who are you? Who are you?
Who am I? So you already know, I already said I am a native New Yorker. Shout out to Southside Jamaica, Queens. That's where I was born and raised. And then I made my way down the highway to the Washington, D.C. area after I graduated from Syracuse University. So I really know what cold is.
You do know what cold is.
So I was already in cold, and I went to colder for college. So yeah, and snow upstate going towards Canada is a whole different it's a whole different ball of wax. It starts snowing on Halloween. It goes all the way through April. I mean, it's like, it's probably,
if I may, I applied to Ithaca. Yep. And when I checked out the weather and whatnot, I was like, I might have to pass on that. Yes.
The day before my graduation is a weekend. It's Saturday and Sunday. Saturday, it was sleet coming out the sky. Mother's Day weekend, 1997. The next day, beautiful outside. People could wear tank tops and sleeveless shirts. I'm like, it was just sleeting yesterday. And that's why all my stuff was packed, and I
Mhm.
left literally that night. They were like, "Oh, you can stay till Monday or Tuesday in the dorm." I'm good.
I'm out.
I've done my 4 years. Love Syracuse. Love my friends, their family. Yeah. So I went to Syracuse. Came down to the DC area for a summer job. And fell in love with the DC area and stayed. And that was 1997. So the DC area for that, like, who knew? Like, it was supposed to be 2 months, and now it's what? How many years? Okay,
That's been some years because I'm doing the math. Like,
it's been some years.
Okay.
It's been some years. And I lived in Texas for 3.5 years. And
really? Where in Texas?
I lived in Dallas. Yep.
What?
I did.
Okay.
So that's a whole story in itself. So I lived in Dallas from 2006 to 2009, and then came back to the DC area. Yeah. The things you learn. So you always say, I'm like, oh, she was not right down the road, but Houston,
Well, I didn't. Dallas is, and for those of you who enjoy Dallas, I'm gonna tell you right now, it sucks here. Okay, so I'm sorry. No, I'm not. No, I'm not sorry because I moved from New York in September 2009 to the Dallas-Fort Worth area. I'm actually in Arlington, and it was like getting on the highway, and I'm in a constant school zone.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was
I am not a fan of Dallas. I don't mind saying it.
Yeah. Actually, I liked it. I didn't like tornado season.
No, and we are there now. Thank you for bringing it up.
Spring there is no spring. Spring is tornado season. And that is what led me back to the East Coast. Like, I don't like snow, but at least I can see it coming and I know what to do with it. Okay, it's not going to come in the middle of the night and tear my house apart.
Yeah.
That stuff. But I will say I met some fabulous friends. They're now family. Family is friends and family.
Yes.
And that was 2006 to 2009. Yep, I'm good. So but yeah, the DMV pulls you in, and I came back to the DMV area, and that was 2009. I did move to Dallas for love. It did not work. But it's all right because that's where I got my start in publishing. So I said, you know what, the boy, bye. But I was able to become published. So it's all right. And I met fabulous artists and all kinds of people. I really love the weather except the tornadoes. But other than that, yeah. Now this was 2006, 2009. I heard it's a lot different now. Traffic, more people. I heard the traffic is really worse than what it was back then. But cost of living is different.
The area has blown up.
Yeah, I heard.
I mean, it's really blown up. I tried to find. Here's what's funny, right? So I too moved here for love. Lord bless. That didn't work out. And the only thing that kept me in this area is my husband, right? Because I was like you, I was like these tornadoes and things. I can't. My heart wasn't built for that. I'm built for hurricanes and stuff like that. It's just something different. The hail, all of it. It's just
the hail. Yes, hailstorm. It just come out of nowhere. You mind your business, driving up the highway, and you start hearing the on your windshield, and you're like, no. And I'm like, I'm in the middle of a highway. I can't pull over anywhere. It's just
So if I had not met him, I probably would have moved back to Houston.
Got you.
Because this right here. So if I could just get through April and May, I'll be good. But we've had a couple of alerts already. Just last week. 'Tis the season for all the things coming out of here.
No.
Before we let you continue, Mikey says closed mouths don't get fed. So clearly he's put it out into the universe that he is going to have some way, or someone's going to figure out how to do that audio signing. And it would be cool. It would be very cool.
It would be cool. Somebody is going to figure it out and make a lot of money.
They will. And just to go back to Rhonda, it is lead jitsu. That's what it is. Remember the dojo. I want to get it right. But I'm telling you guys, if you are a person looking to grow
Mhm.
and you want to get some really good information, I'm going to highly suggest that you check out Rhonda's show and check out the replays. It is phenomenal. Phenomenal. Mikey says, as the Midwester checks out.
Okay.
Oh, Rhonda's in McKinney?
Wow.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. We are going to do the run. Yes, ma'am. I have no idea.
So yeah, I was in Dallas, moved back to the DMV area. And like I said, the love didn't work, but I became published. And that's where I got my start in anthologies. I was published first in anthologies.
Okay.
And I think I was published like about three times before I moved back. So within that 3.5-year stint, I was published 3+ times before I got back. When I left, I was not a published author. I came back a published author and started to hit the open mic scene. I'm a poet. That's another part of me. And really became like just ingrained in the artist community in Dallas. And that I met my tribe out there. I was like, I met my people. The love didn't work, but I had I mean, that was the hard part too, leaving. I didn't want to leave them. I love them so much. And here we are almost 20 years later, and we're all still tight. So tornadoes, yeah, but didn't work. Yeah, but I'm an author. I'm a poet, spoken word artist. I also am a health and wellness coach. So I have 2 distinct hats, and they do intertwine at times. I teach self-publishing classes, like you mentioned before. I teach poetry classes. I teach classes on the performance art, how to get ready for it. But then I teach wellness classes, and I integrate writing into my wellness classes.
So how did you end up in the health and wellness coaching space? Like, how did that come about?
Yeah. So backstory to that was I just thought I knew my path. I thought I knew my career. Like, another part of me, I was in the nonprofit sector for 20 years. So I just knew I'd be an executive director and I have my own nonprofit and I have donors and I had all this laid out, right? And then 2012 hit and my son was only 13 months old. I'm a mom. He will now be 13 this year. So he was 13 months when I was bitten by a tick and didn't know I was bitten by a tick and contracted Lyme disease. And I mean, I was a marathon runner, ran several marathons, African dancer, world traveler. I went from all that to practically being bedridden for a month.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, how do you go from running 6 miles on a daily with no problems to becoming so short of breath you're about to pass out? And I didn't know I was bitten by a tick. That was the thing, because it didn't leave the bullseye rash.
Yeah.
So, and I tell people, like, a good chunk of us, probably about 60-70% of us, never get that rash. So I was misdiagnosed 9 times before an official real diagnosis came through. And even then, some doctors still didn't want to believe it was Lyme disease. So long story short, all of a sudden I started learning about health and wellness, inside and out, integrative health. What the heck is that? I never heard of that before. And holistic health and anything that was going to help me, herbalism and nutrition and Reiki and you name it. And I started to really dive into it. I have a phenomenal medical team, phenomenal. And just learning how to heal my body naturally because the medications were not working.
Yeah.
Antibiotics pretty much damn near killed me. It was like, okay, if the Lyme disease is not going to kill me, it's going to be these medications.
Yeah,
okay.
medication can, yeah.
Having all these adverse reactions. What do you mean? My left arm feel like it's going numb. Like I feel like I'm having heart palpitations. So I started to learn more about health and wellness. And I was talking to my doctor, shout out to Dr. Mines. She was in the DC area, integrative health doctor. And my friend met her through Groupon, of all places. She was like, Serena, you need to see my doctor. I got her on Groupon. And I was like, are you serious? There's real doctors on Groupon? Okay, so I went, and this woman has, when I say not just a clinic, but a medical spa. So we're talking get your colonics done, ionic foot baths, infrared sauna, everything on top of vitamin IV infusions, all kinds of stuff. And I really thank her. I really don't think I would be here without her. It was that bad. So as I'm going through my battle, I learned a lot about myself internally. My doctor particularly said, you really need a therapist, and I'm going to kind of coach you on the side, but you can use a coach. And I'm like, okay, I've heard of life coaches, but what's a wellness coach? And she was like, my dear, she was like, I think you got so sick the way you got sick because you are in heavy grief mode. So she was like, you've been holding it in. And I was grieving. Like, I had lost my mother in 2010. I had lost a sister in 2007. I had lost my dad in 2000, my grandfather in 2001. It was like a host of people, but my mother and my sister, that just almost took me out.
Yeah.
And she said a lot of times when people get physically ill, when the internal is not right, they even fall more apart. So I started to become, getting coached by people. And all of a sudden I found where I went to school was funny. I was there as a patient. That's where my nutritionist and herbalist came from. I was like, what is this little tucked away space in Laurel, Maryland? And it was Maryland University Integrative Health. And didn't know I was going to go back to school eventually. You couldn't have told me. I was getting another master's. I was changing my whole career. But as I was getting better from Lyme disease, I said, my path is changing and I have to help people with their health and wellness. And I said, it's either going to be nutrition or a wellness coach. And I decided the wellness coach, and I could just integrate nutrition. And from there, my path just got completely redirected. And I help out nonprofits now, but from a coaching. And so that's how I got to health and wellness coaching, was my own battle, watching my mom go through her battle with ovarian cancer and not really knowing a lot. Like, we knew all they want to tell you is about chemo, antibiotics, but what about, IV infusions? What about getting her immune system boosted up correctly and naturally? And what about Reiki? What is Reiki? What is the, chakras? What is, and had we known, I think more, Chinese herbalism, not saying she would still be here, but maybe could have survived a bit longer.
Yeah.
So that's what got me to health and wellness coaching, is a very personal battle. And I was really at one point fighting for my life. And I was like, I got to stay here. I got a kid and it's just me and him. I'm a single mom. And I was like, my mom is not here. My grandmother was still alive. My grandmother said, you are not checking out on my watch. So I had a praying grandmother, y'all. Nothing like a praying grandmother. Praying grandmother on her knees. And she's like, you're not going anywhere. You're not. So that was that.
If I can just take a quick moment to speak to dealing with medicine, right? And the medical persons, the body is an amazing machine, and we are not one size fits all. And every now and then I find myself listening to the commercials for some of the medicines or what have you, and when they list the side effects, you're kind of like, well, I might as well just take my chances, because some of this is sounding really serious. So I understand that part of being your best advocate. And looking to try some other things beyond just, and we'll say modern medicine. That can definitely put you down a different path. And everybody says sometimes things happen for a reason, and it puts you in a place for you to impact someone else that didn't know that they would need you at some point in time. It is interesting that you didn't know that you had, and people talk about when you get bit by a tick, there is a very definite sign. Truth be told, not so much.
There's like 60 to 70% does not get the bullseye rash. So I'm just thinking there's a little bug on me, and it happened to be so tiny. That's the other thing, they're so tiny. It was next to a beauty mark on my arm. So I was like, I didn't know I had 2 beauty marks there. That's how tiny it was. And when I went to take it off, I said, oh, this thing is not coming off. I'm just thinking it's a little bug I picked up on a walk. And typically I don't take a nature walk. I like to run on a paved trail away from bushes and trees and everything. I was with coworkers. They said, oh, come on, Serena, let's go for this nature walk. I didn't want to be alone on the paved trail. I said, I'll go on the walk with y'all. Out of 10 people, I was the only one bitten. I was the only one, and still didn't know. Like I said, I just started to, it was a snowball effect of symptoms that started. And the first one was this cough. But I was like, okay, the weather's changing in the DMV. Maybe it's allergies and ragweed season. And then it got worse. And then it was shortness of breath. Now I'm a marathoner. It's like, so I'm like,
You
26.2 miles. Okay, like that was my, I got medals on my wall. So I would know if I have like asthma or something. And that was actually the first misdiagnosis. Oh, maybe you have asthma. I think I would know. Okay, so I was like, an African dance, hour and a half, 2 hours straight. I run marathons. Okay, so.
Which is no offense to those, because I've had my fair share, highly overrated, but yes. Because that 26.2, Lord bless all of us.
That 0.2 makes a difference.
That 0.2 makes a difference.
Like, I'm not there yet. Okay, you see the 26 and you're like, I'm still not there.
I'm still running.
I'm still going. Okay. It really makes a difference at the end, y'all. People are like, why is the point? Trust me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it was a snowball of symptoms. And I had like altogether 35 or so symptoms towards the end. It was just one after the other. And it was all this craziness. And when I met my doctor, she said, whatever happened, it's like an atomic bomb just went off in your body. And she said, but I am going to stay with you until we figure this out and find the best treatment. And that's what she did. She stayed by my side. She held my hand. She held me when I cried. I cried in that woman's office. I cannot tell you how many times I cried. And I would get IV treatments. I got them for 14 months straight, 2 times a week for the first several months. And then it went down to 1 time a week. And it would be on a Saturday. You know, Saturdays was, my day off from work. And I would bring my son with me. He was now 1. And the nurses would take care of him while I'm sitting here getting IV treatments. I mean, it was like that. So, yeah. But these medications, I was getting all the adverse reactions. Oh, if your arm feels numb. Oh, if you have heart palpitations. Oh, if you feel feverish. If you feel faint. I'm like, okay, these are going to kill me. Okay, so we got to get. And my doctor said, off the medications, off of that, we're going to go a natural route and then find some other maybe different kinds of medications that are not talked about, of course, like those that are customly compounded for people. And I'm on one of those now called low dose naltrexone. It gets a bad rap because people who are getting off of opiates use naltrexone, but they use the higher dose. But I use a low dose, and actually helps out with people that have cancer, central nervous system problems, helps with your immune system for healing, you name it. You don't really hear about it much. And of course, insurance doesn't want to cover it, of course, because it works. And the only side effect I've ever had was vivid dreams and good sleep. I'll take that.
He said, I'll do that.
I'll do that. Okay, because I was missing some sleep. Okay.
Like, let me have the vivid dreams and some good sleep. So I often say that writing is therapeutic, right? Just letting all of what's in here just out on paper. Tell us about Divine Wryte Wellness, fusing those two together.
Yeah, so I have my LLC is Divine Wryte, and for those who are new to me, Divine Wryte is my stage name. It is my spoken word name. Actually, that name came to me living in Dallas, Texas.
I'm sorry, okay?
So
I'm native Estonian, but if this is what inspired you, I am here for it.
Yeah, I'll never forget the day I walked into my apartment. I was praying over a name, praying. As soon as I closed the door, Divine Wryte came with a Y on top of that. In my head, it was like, it has to have a Y. I was like, okay, thank you, Dallas, Texas. So there are a lot of takeaways from Dallas. Minus, we're not giving the tornadoes props. Okay, so it's how some people act out there. But anyway, Divine Wryte Wellness is my health and wellness coaching practice, and I have Divine Wryte LLC. And the LLC is what encompasses my writing. But like I said, my wellness, I'm a health and wellness coach. I do workplace wellness programs, and I integrate writing prompts in my wellness classes. So I started to, and it's just simple little things like let's write out a list of triggers. and then we're going to write out a list of what's causing them. We're going to write. Okay, we're not going to think about it. We're not going to text it to each other. We're going to write it out. And then we're going to write our feelings. And depending on the class, if I have like a 2-hour class, I have like one called Writing the Next Chapter. That's for caregivers and those who are grieving. So I actually have a class where we write out our feelings and emotions. What are we feeling right now? There are some classes where I'll try to integrate poetry. I'll read some of my poetry. And I'll invite them to my writing classes. In my writing classes, I integrate health and wellness. So I started to do both. And that's sort of coming to me within the pandemic. How can I bridge the gap and integrate my health and wellness with my writing and vice versa and help more people? But yeah, Divine Write Wellness. The wellness part came in grad school. I'm like, I might as well have my coaching practice named after me. And my slogan is, you have the divine right to be optimally well. Everybody deserves optimal wellness. So, and you have that divine right. That is your divine right. However you get there, however the path is for you. So yeah, in grad school, I went to grad school between 2015 and 2018. I felt better. I was still battling Lyme disease, but grad school made me feel better. I was learning about Qigong and Tai Chi and meditation and becoming a healing presence. And I was like, all this is healing me, and it's healing me and my family and loved ones. And now, the goal was, once you graduate, what are you going to do? Okay, you're going to be a coach, but who are you going to coach? That was the other thing. You can't be a coach to everybody. Okay, so you will drive yourself nuts. So we had to define and drill down on our niches or niches. If you're from the north, it's niches. If you're over here, it's niches. Okay, so
I know, right?
Just depends on what part of the globe
you're from.
So, niches. So we had to drill down on our niches, and I have very distinct niches. Part of them are caregivers, those in the workplace who are really not feeling the workplace. Yeah. They are stressed. Their bosses are the worst. They don't get paid well, and they are stressed. So how can we try to bring in wellness into, even if it's in my cubicle? Okay, can I put up some visuals? Can I do some meditation? Can I do something? Another one is to help those with Lyme disease. So when you Google me, someone said, I Googled you, one of my former clients. So I was Googling, I wanted a Black coach in the DC area that was focused on Lyme disease. You were the only one that showed up. And I was like, well, I'm glad I'm Googlelicious. So I'm glad that
SEO is working.
It's working. Okay, I was like, all right, okay. And she said, I really wanted someone who looked like me, because she said things manifest in us differently.
Yes.
And I was like, you're right. You are right. And I told her everything she was experiencing, I had been through it. So
that's a great segue into this next question. And before I go there, I do want to bring in Tanya's comment that it's so important to have a doctor that listens to you and cares for you through your wellness in full and looks out for your holistic care. So I definitely want to share her thought. But how can we keep self-care at the forefront of our daily routine? Because a lot of people, okay, so 2020, if we want to go there, because I kind of think it was a shift for a lot of us.
Yeah.
It sort of got us right in the throat and said, okay, you guys might want to stop and think about how you're currently living life, because this is just not sustainable, right? Like the idea that you had to be in this place to do this job for certain industries, certain jobs, that curtain came back. We're like, oh, wait, we don't really have to be here after all. So that's not really true, right? And a lot of people started thinking, I want a better life overall.
Yeah. Yep.
Like this work-life balance, it shouldn't be a matter of balancing work life. It's like, I just want to make sure that I'm living and enjoying the time that I'm here.
Exactly.
There were a lot of people who were grieving, not just loved ones or friends who passed because of COVID or other complications, but it was grieving of lost opportunities. What could have been, what made, like all the kids who didn't go to prom, right? Like I had other plans for myself in 2020.
Yeah.
Opportunity was there, and those opportunities disappeared. So there were a lot of folks who were grieving who probably didn't know that they were grieving and didn't have a way to release it. Now, my journal, y'all, when I pass away, if that sucker is still around, I'm telling you, I had to let it all out somewhere. And I'm writing it down.
Yeah.
So now that we understand that rest is not a reward, it is a requirement. How are we bringing this self-care to a daily routine? You mentioned meditating in your cubicle space. What other ideas could people use to just keep that front of mind, as well as journaling?
Oh, yeah. I have a box of journals on my right side. I have a basket to the left. I have a journal on my desk. So I'm like, okay, I just bought a brand new journal like 2 weeks ago from Barnes & Noble. I was on a hunt for a new journal. So I'm with you. People are like, this girl has a library. I have a library of journals. So self-care routine. You mentioned rest. It is not a reward. It is a requirement. Sleep. I learned that before the pandemic. I learned that with Lyme disease. Okay, my doctor said in order for you to heal, you have to sleep. And in order for you to sleep, we have to help get rid of some of these symptoms, or just to decrease, because there were symptoms keeping me up all night. It was like I had insomnia. I would wake up at 4 a.m. on the dot every day without an alarm clock. I didn't have to get up until 6. And I didn't go to bed until late because the symptoms were just so much. But your body cannot heal, period, okay, from anything without the proper sleep. So before you go to work, before the alarm clock goes off, I'm a huge advocate of sleep. I just taught a sleep series class just last week. I got like 3 jobs. Okay, so I'm a coach. I'm a wellness instructor. So through that, I taught a class on sleep just last week. And then I'm also adjunct faculty for grad school. Yeah. And I was gung-ho about teaching about sleep. I am all about my sleep. Do not disturb me. Okay. And it's going to be ugly if you do. So I'm really about my 8 to 9 hours per day. People say, oh, that's too long. Actually, that's what you should be getting. That should be your average. Your goal should be 8 to 9 per day. And it's not a reward. Your body needs that to heal, restore. Your brain needs it to reset itself and to like rest. Another great way to take care of yourself, and people don't like it when I say this, but turning the TV off when you are about to go to sleep, turn the tablet off, turn it off. Okay, so wish I had a bullhorn. Okay. And why? Okay, because I used to be years ago, the TV be on and you go to sleep to your favorite show.
Yeah.
You might be asleep, but your brain is still awake because it is still picking up the signals and all of that from the TV, the tablet, the phone, all of it. Now, unless it's soothing music, meditation, white noise, that's something different. Your brain is like, oh, I like this.
Yeah.
But, if you're like my partner over here watching Power, I love Power. Don't get me wrong. Love some Power. I love Ghost. Love it all. Okay. But watching that as you're going to sleep. Okay. So you're going to sleep and it's still on. Okay. So you got gunfire. You got.
Yes.
But your brain is still awake. So sometimes you wake up, you still feel tired. Well, I got 7-8 hours of sleep, but you went to sleep with a TV on. Had a lot of action going on. Okay, so or you have a lot of light in the room. Turn the lights out. You want to be in complete darkness. Get blackout curtains. I love my blackout curtains.
Yes, love the blackout curtains.
Oh, I bought those in the pandemic. Game changer. Okay, so that, and then when you're going to work, I've been in stressful environments, highly, highly stressful. I would always have 2 bulletin boards. One would be for work, and one would be like for pleasure. So I'd have my beach pictures of my family, anything that's going to like soothe my soul or make me feel good. And it was a few times people were like, oh, where's that picture from? They thought I was, cropping, or it was a green screen. I was like, no, I was really in Africa in this picture. I was really in here. I was over here. That's me on an actual beach. It's not a green screen. Okay. And then like cutting out, like I would have like almost a vision board on my bulletin board at work. So that was me. That's what I needed. I needed something visual. And I would play my YouTube playlist at work. Not the hip hop one, unless I was really angry and I had to get it out. Okay. Then We got to pull out some DMX or somebody. But okay, but
there's a couple of songs that I
yeah.
mean, I don't even allow Ludacris. Well, there's a particular song for Ludacris that I don't allow in the car anymore because it was causing confusion.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Move. You know what I'm saying? Because I was like, if y'all don't get out of my way, it's goes. I no longer allow it on the.
That's my 95 South song. Ludacris. That song, 95 South. Like, you know what? I got to put it on. All right. So, on the censored version, my kid's in the back and he doesn't want to wear the headphones. Okay. So, but yeah, and then finding time for yourself. Go for a walk. Take 5 minutes. If you can't walk, go for a roll. I tell people if you're wheelchair bound, go outside, get some air, get away from your desk, step away from the desk. You have to. Even at home, I work from home. When I'm taking a break, I get up and I go into another room, or I sit on my bed, or I go outside, but get away from the laptop, the computer, the phone. Yeah. And it's okay if you don't text or email people right back. They don't know that you read the email. Okay, or read the text already.
Yeah.
They don't know. Okay, you know, but they don't. So it's like, you know what? I could take my time and respond to this. And that's self-care, especially if it's a triggering email or text message. You want to take time and say, okay, how do I respond? Do I respond? And, we're getting older and I'm starting to realize my circles are getting smaller. So that's another thing. I'm meeting great people like you, Gwendolyn. Like, all right, welcome in. All right. We got some great folks, and our mission and vision is so parallel. But there are some people that they just can't come with you.
No.
And
that's okay.
It's hard.
Yeah.
But that's self-care. You have to let go. No matter how long you've known them. Oh, but they've been my friend for 30 years. I'm going through that now with somebody. And I'm like, okay, they've been your friend, but they are highly toxic. And they're pouring that onto you, and now you're trickling down to other people. You got to let them go.
It's inner peace and well-being. It's like, look, I know we family, but you are not allowed. Sorry, not sorry. We're not doing this today.
Sorry, not sorry.
Tanya says that those are her sleep goals for sure.
Yes.
Sleep goes there. Gary also says that he loves Power. But can I go back to that really quick? Because my husband would watch CNN in the morning.
Oh, yeah.
And I remember there was
the
mass shooting in Las Vegas. And it just absolutely, I could hear it in my sleep. And so we had to have a discussion. I went to work and I would sit home because I was so rattled. And I said, moving forward, I can't have that when I'm sleeping. I can't. So he actually bought headphones that he can wear in the morning, and the sound is as low, but he can hear it. And so I don't have that coming into my sleep because your brain, like you said, it's working.
It's on. Your brain doesn't say, "Oh, it's 10 o'clock. I'm going to bed." Your brain doesn't do that. So you have to help it go to settle down. But CNN and everything.
It's too much. He said, my brother and I are rewatching the original again. Gary, my goodness. So let me.
Here we go. Okay.
I started the show talking about the self-publishing workshops.
Yes.
That you were hosting last year. And every single time I was like, I'm not available. I'm going to figure this out. So I don't want
back this year. They're coming back.
Okay, so that's good to know. All right, people. Okay. So if you are considering it's coming back, but do you have any general advice right here, right now, for those of us who may be considering doing a book, self-publishing our book?
Yes. So the first piece of advice, when you take my class, you're going to crack up because people are like, oh, that's really the first step. They're thinking it's going to be something technical about the book cover and editing and copywriting. First 2 steps is accountability. How am I getting this written? How am I doing this? And the second step is write the book. Because there's a lot of people saying, I want to write my book. I want to write the book. So have you written a paragraph, a sentence? Have you brainstormed? Anything, right? And that's the first step is how am I going to hold myself accountable to getting it done and even starting? How about starting? So okay, is it a wall calendar? Is it text alerts? Is it phone a friend? Is it, someone texting you like, hey girl, how's that book coming along? What is it going to take to just get started? And then just start. Don't overthink the process. Oh, I need this fabulous laptop. I need this new iPad. I need this. No, you do pad and a pen. Okay, get a memo pad on your phone. You get the little app. I have a friend, she wrote her entire book in her phone.
Really?
She said she couldn't, and see, your book will start talking to you until the point where you can't go to sleep sometimes. So she got the Word app, Microsoft Word, on her phone. And when in the middle of the night would do like text,
Really?
auto, she would do the texting and talking, and then it would go to text, talk to text. And then, she would flush it out. And she literally said, before you knew it, her whole book was written in her phone. And she said, I no longer had an excuse. I have a phone. I have multiple apps. I can use one to write this book. So write the book. Just start to write. Just start. And I tell people there's ways, because everybody's always asking, well, how can you afford it? It's so expensive.
Yeah, there's that.
Yeah, there's ways where it's not super expensive. And, you work with this one who has a payment plan, or you talk to this one and okay, I can work that out. And then you want to check references. I'm not paying you $10,000. Who are you? Okay, I'm not paying you $5,000. Who are you? Are you a publishing company? Okay, what do you offer? And this is for those where I work with an independent publishing company. They help me with the typesetting. That's the interior of the book cover, the graphic design, and make it look pretty. I just do the Microsoft Word document. That's all I can do. And I pass it on to my team. I have an editor. I have folks who make it look pretty. But yeah, you look at and you shop. You shop who's the best, not just bargain, but who's going to fit in my window of affordability. And then of course there's ways to raise money. It's called crowdfunding. Yeah. And actually me and Ron were supposed to do a show one time. I gotta remind him, we're supposed to do a show on crowdfunding. So because I crowdfunded for my last book, I was coming up with a gap. And I said, I need about $2,000 more. I'm gonna and I learned about crowdfunding from an organization here in the DMV area. They're called Substantial Arts. They're a husband and wife duo, and they did this whole 45-minute presentation on crowdfunding and really broke it down. You hear about crowdfunding.
Yes, you do.
But what is it? And how do you do it? Right? So they told us about the different platforms and who pays you out fastest and which one won't release money until you pay. You raise everything. I said, no, I don't want that one. I need my money as it comes. Okay. And then, the reward is, people pay. They give you $50. Okay, I'll send you an ebook. People send you $100. Okay, I'll give you a paperback. Yeah. So it's a reward system. And the funny part was in my crowdfunding, I reached out to folks like, okay, thank you. I raised my money. And I reached out to folks saying, I owe you rewards. Send me your emails. And they were like, it's all right. We don't even want anything in return. We just wanted to help you.
Yes.
And I'm like, wow. I'm here ready to sign books and send stuff out to people. I'm like, okay, I'm not hearing back from anybody. And folks gave me from $5 up to $100, $150, $200.
Nice.
And that's how I met my gap. I was like, okay, I was able to pay for the editor and pay for this and pay for that. But I was like, I'm coming up with a little bit of a gap here, and people will help you. If they believe in you, yeah, and they see you. I was on social media. I have videos. I would share my poetry, and I would say any amount helps, any amount, and that's what it was. So that can help you raise money, so you're not stressed about how am I going to pay for my book. And then of course the goal is now once you have a book, is to now have enough money to say, okay, I now am refunding. I'm giving myself that refund. I'm getting my money back and making sure I now have enough money where I'm now making a profit. But your book is your book. Once it's out there, it is out there. And like my first book is my oldest book. It'll be 10 years old in June.
Oh, people congratulations.
Thank you. We're coming up on an anniversary. So yes. But yeah, just publish the book. I don't want to give too many tips because I'm gonna, do another
No, I
workshop.
don't want you to do that because if we know that it's coming back, so
It's coming back.
we are
It's
gonna
on
let
my
people.
website too. People can
Yes.
go and download the recorded workshop on my
Oh,
website.
what,
'Cause
what-
my
There
website
you
is dope
go.
like that. So yeah, I have figured that out in the pandemic too. How can I record my workshops where it's downloadable so people can now download the workshop if they can't make it to a live one?
Well, that works because I know a lot of us. Okay, let me just say this: there's always something new, people,
Yeah.
and the newest thing that everybody is supposed to do is
Supposed
to write a book. Now, I will say this: I do have an idea in my head.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, I have ideas in my head, and I do remember. I still have some of my writing from college and some from high school.
Wow.
But Gwendolyn was going to be a magazine writer, people. We were going to write for the magazine. I was in New York City doing the things.
Yep.
Got the magazine thing and said, I can't sit here for 8 hours. I'm about to pull all my hair out. I didn't have any. Okay. I mean, it was like this. So I said, we're gonna have to do something else. It sounded so great as a kid, and then you're like, this is not what I anticipated. So I'm gonna change this career path to find it. But I still have those articles. I still have them.
Wow.
But I would like to get my book out. Supposedly, it's on my list for this year, but we're gonna figure that out.
Yay,
We're going to figure it out.
Yep. And I tell people sometimes you have the best laid plan, like, oh, my book's gonna come out this year.
Yeah.
Like my latest book, Artist Paradise. I thought it was coming out 3 years ago, then 2 years ago, then a year ago. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna let this book do what it's supposed to do. Okay. And it finally came out November of 2023. And it came out, it was the way it all came out. I'm like, this is why. So I have the paperback, the ebook, and then the month after it was released, the audiobook was dropped on Audible. So I'm on Audible. That was a whole other labor of love. And so yeah, I would love if someone could figure out how to do that autograph on an audiobook. I have an audiobook. I would love it.
She would love to do it.
But yeah. And I am the narrator of my book because I really
remember seeing that on Instagram when you had the headphones on, you were in the booth and you're doing your thing. I said, oh, okay, Serena's out there doing the thing.
Yeah, I'm going back in the booth this Sunday. I'm going to record my first book, Reconstruction. Nice. So going back with my producer, sit for a couple hours and get to work on Sunday afternoon. Yep.
So we have two things for you. I do want to give time for people to get your information that they can get, because I need to get that class clearly. But now I already know that there is something new for you. But would you like to share what's new for you or your business?
What is new for me or my business? Well, I just talked about the audiobook. So that is coming. So I have two hats. So for the writer's hat, that is coming up. So the audiobook for Reconstruction and Backtracking. I have 4 books total. So I'm going to record each book and turn it into an audiobook. I just was working on my Lyme disease memoir just last night and wrapped up because the story has to be told. Yeah. And a lot of my story is in journals. So I just pulled out of the journals because my doctor said, you're a writer. I want you to write out everything you're feeling, everything, not knowing it would turn into a book. So that's going to come out prayerfully next year. That was a very emotional book to write. Because you're reliving everything all over again. Yeah. So that's going to be next year. It'll be different because I was doing my research. There's really not anyone of color who has written their journey of Lyme disease. Yeah. There's a lot of, I love reading about other folks who have Lyme disease, but I'm like, there's nobody like us writing about their journey. So that will be birthed next year. I do have fiction books and children's books that will be coming out as well. So that's the writer side. And then the health and wellness side, like I said, that's another thing. So I have a workplace wellness program. I'm a coach. I actually I'm a 1099 for a coaching company. But my goal is to really push my business out there, my health and wellness coaching practice, the workplace wellness program in particular. And I would love to be picked up by a company. I would love to be their workplace wellness specialist, their coach, the wellness instructor, but not be full time. I'm not trying to do this 40 hours a week. Okay, I'm doing my schedule. Okay, I'm not coming into an office. So yeah. So I've been shopping my proposals around. And just see what else is out there, creating more wellness classes. There's some on my website now, but there's going to be more added. And like my one friend told me, Serena, you need a catalog. Like, you need
I'm like
together. And I'm like, maybe that'll be a project. I will have to hire it out because I'm not doing that. But I will send everybody here's the descriptions, the pictures, make a catalog. And people can shop the catalog. So those are the new things coming up.
Sweet. And how can we get in contact with you?
Yeah, so I'm on social media platforms under Divine Wryte, DIVINE WRYTE. Facebook is interesting. I have 2 Facebook business pages. So I have Serena Wills, all one word, SERENA WILLOS. That's the author page. Then I have Divine Wryte Wellness. That's a whole one word, and that's my Facebook business page. And then you can go to my website, serenawills.com, or you go to divinewryte.com. And divinewryte.com is the health and wellness page. And then serenawills.com is my author page.
Sweet.
And yeah, that's the one thing. You got to maintain everything. Yeah, I'm the one, I update the websites and all that stuff. I had to go on YouTube University and learn that and everything. And I'm across, when I say social media, I'm on TikTok, and that's because of my child who signed me up. And I woke up one morning like, why do I have a welcome to TikTok, Divine Wryte? And I'm like, what? I didn't sign. So I'm thinking I was hacked. And this is when he was turning 12. He said, hey, Mom, you know how he has a tablet. I keep track of him through my email. These kids are smart. So he was like, oh, this is Mom's email. I'm going to sign her up for TikTok. He signed me up for TikTok last year, y'all. So I'm like, okay, so I'm on TikTok now because of my child.
He's trying to keep you on the up and up. It's a very good chance you may have an audience there, so you never know.
Yeah, I've been getting like some views. Like, okay, all right. I just have to remember I have it. It's like, yeah, I gotta post a TikTok. That's right. In my Pinterest, I have a Pinterest account, but I really am trying to crack the nut on how to work Pinterest, because it's not social media. It's a search platform. It's like a Google almost.
Yeah.
But there is a way. Someone actually has a class on cracking the nut of Pinterest, but I don't know if my audience is there. But I do have stuff on Pinterest. I do have some stuff.
You'd be surprised. I mean, again, the best thing about Pinterest is it has the longest staying power.
Yes.
It's a search engine.
It stays there. It stays.
Be surprised.
Yeah.
Who will be on Pinterest and who may be able to find you from just being there. So think about that. Yeah.
So I have to update. It's been a while, but I have a poetry thing. I have a health and wellness, all Divine Wryte, but you have the different things in Pinterest. So yeah, and I'm on LinkedIn, Serena Wills. You can find me. It's like some crazy numbers afterwards. Hey, Soror Tachi.
Dr. Tachi is here.
Yes, I put that in my bio too. What about Serena? Yes, I am a member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. So yes, Divine Nine. Yep. But yeah, actually, I met Soror Tachi. We've met before the pandemic. We go back some years. Never met in person to this day. Okay, but she was on the Dr. Vibe show with one of my close friends who's also a soror, and they had this really cool Wednesday night chat. And I was like, who is this? Where's she living at? And that was like maybe 2017, 2018. Yeah, it's been some time. And that's when I learned about Mediascope. I said, I need to follow our Mediascope. And yeah, so we got some history.
Oh yeah, 2017.
There we go. Bam.
Time flies. Oh my goodness.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's 7 years. We have an anniversary coming up. Okay.
That's all the anniversaries coming up.
And me and Gwendolyn are on her network, on Indie Soup Network.
Indie Soup Media, which the way the world is working now, there's so much great content. I have to find myself to, like, if I'm not available live, I have to go back to catch it.
Yeah,
but
I know.
The world is different now.
It's good. It's good. Yeah.
It is good. It is good. And you are on Indie Suit Media. Yes.
Yes. I have segments that come on every week, and you'll learn about poetry, publishing, literary artistry, and so much more. So, yeah, come and check us out.
Well, Serena, I have to say, you definitely brought a lot of information to us today, and I know the crowd is highly appreciative of you sharing your knowledge with us, because the Lyme disease thing, and I know that you never want to have any kind of trauma that leads you to something else, but sometimes that's how life is just served to us. You have definitely made the most of it and are helping others doing that as well. And as you already know, according to the crowd here, we have a couple of folks who are looking at getting a book done. I'm speaking for myself right here. So we will be checking out those recorded workshops and getting stuff in order. And I have a accountability buddy. So we are going to get this done, people. We're going to get it done. And
get it done and just start writing. It's not a race. It's a marathon.
Girl, and we know about marathons, so we
know. Run your pace or you will burn out. Okay, trust me.
You got to get your pace together.
Ask me how I know. Okay, just ask.
Before we wrap this up, everybody, I will tell you next week we have John Allen coming in. She's going to talk about effective digital marketing for small biz owners. She's going to bring that. She also happens to be a Houstonian. I'm not going to say that I have biases, but I'm going to go ahead and say it. You know how I feel about Houston, so it is what it is. I'm not even going to pretend.
There's a bias.
I don't have a bias there, but she does have amazing information about digital marketing. So you definitely want to tune in for that one next week. And again, if you have not signed up for the small biz bites, but I have an email list where we do a replay of our Small Biz Bites podcast, video podcast, as well as all the others. Because Gwendolyn just doesn't know how to do one thing. I just wasn't built that way.
No.
I'm doing all the things.
It's boring.
The things. So Serena, thank you for giving us your time.
You're welcome.
Be watching the replay later on or sometime in the future. Thank you for tuning in. For all of the guests who were here today, giving us all your comments and your thoughts. Thank you for also tuning in and sharing this time with us. And I will see all of you. It'll be next week. Talk to you then. Thank you for watching another episode of Small Biz Bites with Gwendolyn R. Houston Jack, where we chat with other creatives and small business owners about their journey. And we also invite you to like, share, and subscribe to the GR Houston Jack YouTube channel, where you can get the latest and greatest.